Hi guys, and welcome to my September-October no-buy favourites, where I tell you all the things I've loved over the last couple of months, but without suggesting that you buy anything. I didn't really anticipate that I would keep this fleece on during filming, but I'm so comfy cozy that we're just going to power through. My first favourite that we're going to start with is music, and I can't talk about music at the moment without talking about my love and devotion to Self Esteem. Self Esteem's third album, A Complicated Woman, has been touring over the last year, and I was lucky enough to see her at End of the Road Festival, and I just think she's like the coolest person in the world. I'm definitely in a life phase at the moment where seeing women who are over 30 just doing really cool stuff and not being sort of forced into a box because of their age is very inspiring to me as I approach 30. To be fair, I do have a full leather gear, and I feel like there's not many ages where you constantly talk about already being that age the way that maybe the 30 and 40 mark are, because technically I only just turned 29, but still I find it really liberating and cool to see a woman not be penned in by society's expectations of what happens to you after 30, which is that you become less interesting, less relevant, you have less fun. Because if anyone is having fun, it's Self Esteem's band on the Complicated Woman tour. They're dressed up as like nuns meets The Handmaid's Tale. They're doing dance routines. It's kind of a gospel singing vibe with a chorus. My favourites from A Complicated Woman are Deep Blue OK, Cheers to Me, and Focus is Powerful. And running to those songs, oh my god, it really gets you going. It's so uplifting. Very lyrically inclined when I listen to songs. Obviously I care about the melody, but I really focus on lyrics, and I just think she is such an incredible lyricist and cool lady, and I love her. My second musical favourite is in a very similar vein, and that is Hayley Williams with her Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party album release. Hayley Williams is 36 and I think has been in a band since she was 15 or something crazy. And to see her still making such creative music, releasing without a label, not even releasing on New Music Friday, which I think is particularly cool. I feel like in the era of the Stan Wars and everyone for some reason caring so much that their chosen artist has the highest streams, like I am a big Taylor Swift fan, and that's difficult to talk about right now. But I do not care at all about which celebrity is the highest streamed on Spotify. I would actually, due to my own terminal uniqueness, prefer the artists I like to have slightly lower streams. Nice to have shared cultural moments, yes, sure, but this obsession with your favourite artist being like the chart topper, comparing them to other artists and being, look how much better my artist's streams are, is so boring to me. So the idea of a famous musician like Hayley Williams not releasing on New Music Friday is, I think, very cool. I've become too animated discussing this, and now I do have to defleece. And third and finally in music, and the theme continues because it's Lily Allen's new album. The album is called West End Girl, and you've probably heard about it online, because I feel like it is having a bit of a viral moment because it's obviously quite salacious. There's lots of gossip around it. I'm not by any means claiming to be above that. If you think I don't love gossip, you've got me all wrong. The other day I was having a terrible day, and one of my friends texted me a piece of gossip relating to her life that was so interesting and juicy and layered that it really revived me for the whole evening. I was a new woman. But that being said, I think when people take the Daily Mail take lines from this album out of context and just sort of blow up individual really oh my god, what the fuck lines in the song, I think it kind of does the album a disservice, because obviously everyone likes hearing about gossip in other people's relationship, but what's really cool about this album, as well as the sort of electronic beats that feel very Charli XCX, is just the storytelling, the simplicity of the lyrics, and yet the journey Lily takes you on. You feel her shock with her as things are revealed. Her use of tone in the album, so when she's saying "Who's Madeline" on one of her songs, you really feel like that's how she would have said it in the moment. And she is a Laurence Olivier Award nominated actress, I believe. So my next section of favourites come into a crafting section, and I just want to put out there that obviously I did buy things to make these crafts, but in a lot of cases I already had the things, and I'm not advising you to buy anything, so I think it still counts under a no-buy favourites. My first absolute favourite thing to make and do over the last couple of months has been relearning how to knit as a first, and then also combining it with crochet to make these folk art inspired knit and crochet combo pieces. Oh, this is a personal favourite of mine. So here we have a little fairy looking up at the moon. This is all crochet applique, so just 2D crochet flat, stitched onto this regular stockinette stitch. And I have absolutely loved relearning how to knit because I did know how, but I got so focused in on crocheting, which I do love to do, and I think in a lot of ways suits me better because it's quite freeform. I was feeling quite insecure about my knitting ability and like, oh, I've forgotten a load of the stitches, I wouldn't be good at it. And then when you're in sort of the fibre arts world, you see loads of both, and it's nice to feel like you're interested in both and can have a go at both. And it was fun to challenge myself. Because I probably have quite a high standard for myself now in this area of crafting. So trying something where I was like, this might be so shit, was good for me, I think. It's so pleasing to me. And I also think that when you are crafting using your hands, obviously you're asking a lot of them, and especially like needlepoint or crochet can be really rough on your fingers and wrists. I see a lot of people crocheting complaining of pain. I've had pain before, or people posting videos saying, oh, I made this today, my wrist is killing me, lol. Whereas actually it's not lol, it's serious. I would be devastated if I couldn't craft because my hands and wrists were too sore. I do a lot of this kind of thing, a lot of wiggling of the fingers to try and keep them okay. But what I think is even more helpful is just diversifying. So rather than crocheting every day, why not crochet one day, knit the next? Maybe even sew on the third. As well as it being good for your brain, I think it's really beneficial for your body to have multiple streams of interest. Just like you wouldn't or shouldn't do exactly the same exercise every day because it would put you under too much strain, I think the same should apply to crafts. Now that I'm feeling very confident again with my knitting skills, well, very confident, you know, I'm still a much better crocheter than I am knitter, but I came up with this little knitted bonnets pattern because I'm all about bonnets this year, and then sewed on some crochet applique tulips, which again I think gives a very folk art woodsy vibe. And now this is just probably one of my favourite things I've ever made. It just feels very me, and it's excellent for having a fringe because unlike a hat, it isn't clamping my fringe down on my forehead and ultimately ruining it for the day. I'm aware that both at once is quite a statement look. But yeah, this has been so fun, especially going from, oh, I'm a much better crocheter, I wouldn't be able to create my own knitting pattern, to being like, I've had a few goes, I know how I want this to look, and coming up with my own knitted bonnet pattern. It's just nice, isn't it? It gives you faith in yourself. Oh, and then a final crafting project. So I was going to be doing another craft market this December. I'm now actually not because I'm moving to a new area, which I'll talk more about another time. But in advance, I went to the I went to the secondhand craft shop because I really wanted to make a banner for my shop. Loads of people always have them at markets. I think they look really cute. And I like a fun, quick project. So I made this. So this is mostly just done with sticky felt that I cut out, made shapes with, and then I also sewed this little ribbon around the edges just to make it look a little neater. I love it. I love the colours. It feels super representative of what I want my brand to be, and it was very fun to make. I love working with sticky felt. It's like making a big fun puzzle. Hanging that up in my new room for now, since I no longer have a market to attend. There have been 2 books that I've really enjoyed over the last 2 months. The first one was Shred Sisters. So I think that's a really bad name for a book. I'll start there. It follows 2 sisters from early life through to adulthood. I love a book about sisters. I love a book about twisted family dynamics. It's definitely got all of that. It's 2 very different girls than women and how they navigate their relationship with each other, telling their sort of concurrent but very different stories. If you like books like Hello Beautiful, Blue Sisters, you'd probably enjoy this. If you have any more recommendations for that kind of either multi-generational family or many different women in a family kind of stories, I'm interested. I also listened to the audiobook of The Compound, which is, it's one of those assumed dystopia novels, I think, where they don't necessarily say, oh, something has happened and we're living in a dystopia now, but you pick up hints and clues that the world outside of this compound that they're in is not quite our world. And then The Compound is sort of this slightly twisted Love Island situation. And it follows one of the young women in there who is trying to couple up and earn rewards and earn public favour on the show. What I liked about it was it did feel like an easy read. I don't know how much I like that term, but you know, it was quite simply written, but at the same time, it wasn't afraid to really challenge you in terms of the decisions the protagonist makes. Even though she's quite an every woman character, she does things that are really selfish or really materialistic, and sort of reckoning with that as the reader and asking yourself, you know, would you do that? Would you do something different? I thought was very interesting. The only thing I would say was it lost me maybe towards the end with sort of the simple villainization of some of the characters. But overall, really good read, would recommend. My other favourite thing through September and October so far has been being 29. I've slightly referenced this earlier, but I turned 29 in August. So through September and October, I've been starting to experience what that's like. And so far, I don't really have any complaints. I know it's supposed to be a difficult year, Sunday night of your 20s, people asking you what you're going to do for your 30th birthday party. I do have ideas, and they do involve little crafts. So far, the main thing that's happened to me at 29 is my hormonal acne has disappeared. No rhyme nor reason. I've changed nothing in my diet or routine. I can only put this down to aging out of it. And I will take that win over being 27 or 28. One thing I'm less sure about being 29 is recently I've lost all craving for sweet things and chocolate, which was usually a huge part of my day to day. I don't really know why that's happened. And on one level, I'm like, if I am not excited about chocolate bars and birthday cake, then who even am I? But it does mean I go to the shop less often in the evening to buy chocolate. Now, I'm sure Christmas will cure me of that, so it's fine. But this year, I'm about to start a new job, about to move quite far away within the country, but big move coming up. So I do feel very like Saturn return coded at the moment. I'm reasonably excited about it. Oh, and one final thing that is a big favourite of mine that I'm gonna hang up in my new room when I move is this amazing poster. I'll stand back so you can actually see it. So to tell you the story of this poster, I used to work for a community farm project, and I would run the events there. And every year they did this big summer fair that had thousands of people come by, and it was like music and stalls, really fun. And we would commission this local artist to make posters, and she would always make super cool ones like this, really colourful. And I was always very taken with this one in particular, the colours, the frog, come on. And these were actually so in demand, we would sell them after the events, but people would also steal them from where they'd been put up because they were like a cool thing to own. And after this particular event, I got given this one. At the time, I was between rentals in Bristol, so my very kind friend Emily kept it for me at her uni house. Since then, she's moved, I've moved, but only recently she came up to visit me and brought this with her, which I'd forgotten she even had. It is mine again, we're reunited. And what is especially cool about it is the 27th of April, that's actually my anniversary with my boyfriend. So it's special on several levels. Sorry, I'm just popping in because I forgot one really important favourite, which is Carly Rae Jepsen's New York wedding. If you haven't treated yourself to having a look at these pictures, you just must. Her wedding dress is incredible. She looks like a nymph. And then her party, like second dress is incredible as well, that she's spinning in, and it's all tiered layers. Her going to get pizza with her husband afterwards, holding all her baby nieces. If you want some gorgeous, delicious wedding content, here's this. Those are my September, October favourites. Let me know what you've been enjoying over the last 2 months, especially if you have any like music or book recommendations for me. Always love seeing those. And I will see you guys again soon. Loads of love, bye!